Bande Matram, good evening. Welcome all of you. The topic we are going to discuss this evening is on God's Messenger. Very interesting topic, of course, a glorious topic. The thing is that sometimes we don't know about God, about their contribution, why the avatars have come, what is the significance of their taking birth and rebirth. Rather, it is a puzzle. It is an enigma, the unsolved puzzle. It has not been solved. Since time immemorial, people keep asking this question but unable to get the right answer. Of course, we know the inner divinity is in man is the eternal avatar in the inner divinity is the eternal avatar in man. Of course, man has forgotten. They don't not forgotten. They don't know. Even if they are a little bit conscious through this creation of awareness, either through somebody has gone through the topics, so many big epics, legends, these books, and or somebody's suggestion, somebody's guru's that through this prophecy, through this speech, through this class, through this anyway, somebody is aware, but actually he keeps himself shut in the prison of it half lit obscurity, don't want to come out. That is the problem. For this he is actually kept stagnant. He is actually not able to know or not interested to know the things. Now we are going to little bit explain, and of course we want to try to clarify some of the doubts which and how Sri Aurobindo has clarified in his greatest version, greatest magnum opus, of course, Savitri. Sri Aurobindo quotes very interestingly, the seed of Godhead sleeps in mortal hearts. So already it is clearly clarified. Suppose that you can find some tree is actually emerging out of the ground, means there is nothing that there was a definitely there was some existence, some seed was there buried below the ground. From when this acclimatized, the condition is actually favorable, water is coming, something like it is plowed or something. Anyway, when it is acclimatized naturally, this is actually coming out. The blossom, it is coming out, this sprouting up. This small plant, it is actually coming out of the heart of the earth surface, hard earth surface. Anyways, here in the course, this seed is there. Seed of Godhead sleeps in mortal hearts. As they are the trees spouts, there is a small actually that chara is there, small trees there. So in like this seed of Godhead sleeps in the mortal hearts. Then after the seed, what happens? The flower of Godhead grows in the world tree. When it is this seed is giving the tree is coming out of the seed, when it is actually growing up, then naturally it has to bear the flower of Godhead, not the ordinary flower of this lower hemisphere. The flower of Godhead grows in the world tree. Then what is the purpose? Small seed, it is coming out, then flower, so this is blossoming throughout, it is a big shape. So what is the purpose? All shall discover God in self and things, not to so display its ego, not to be satisfied with its what it is, but actually its purpose is something different, and only purpose is that all shall discover God in self and things. Thing is that how it will be able to know, because all are not that much conscious, they have not risen to the point of consciousness like this. So what happens, what is the point, what is the formula, who wants to show it, display it? But when God's messenger comes to help the world, God's messenger, that is the topic of the world, topic of the this evening. When both are being used, but when God's messenger come to help the world and lead the soul of earth to higher things. Now initially God's messenger, that is the main point of discussion, and that he has come to help the world. simply not coming and going back. That is not the purpose. He will come, they have come to help the world. And the second question, lead the soul of earth to higher things, mind, life and body. That is their different, they are of course their purpose is something different, but actually lead the soul of man to higher things, soul of man to higher things, to higher consciousness, to the higher zenith, higher top. It is actually leading. He too must carry the yoke he came to unloose. The thing is now loose, he came to unloose. So for that, what he has to do, he has also to bear the pang, because already we have seen, he who would save himself lives bare and calm. He has nothing to do with this. Let the world suffer, there is no problem for him, it is not his headache. But he who would save the race, the race, not one or single person, entire race, he who would save the race must share its fame. This he shall know, who obeys the grandiose odds. But because how shall he get the cure, the formula of cure? How shall he see? He has to take the load. He has to share the load. He has to know how the pain actually harms. What is the really the suffering? How it comes? Naturally, he has to know. So he has to share. Against Sri Aurobindo quotes, the great who came to save this suffering world. Suffering world means it is a common definition. The great who came to save this suffering world. The world is suffering, but those who came, God's messenger, we are discussing, and the Sri Aurobindo quotes, the great who came to save this suffering world. Ordinary people, they can't they can't actually share the load. Even if they are sharing, they can't bring the principle entire curing formula. They can't they can't bring the panacea. But the great who came to save this suffering world and rescue out of time's shadow and the law, time's shadow and the law, from both, to rescue, who came, the great came, must pass beneath the yoke of grief and the pain. So also for them also there is also the yoke of grief and pain. They must pass through. They must pass through the dangerous arcades of the power. Even if the radiant sons of the darkness, radiant sons of the gods, to fulfill their privilege is and was, none can reach heaven if he has not passed through hell. Naturally, that is the formula, that is the only path. The yoke of grief and pain he must pass through. They are caught by the wheel that they had hoped to break. Caught the wheel they had hoped to break. On their shoulders they must bear man's load of fate. Not for him he was born. So he was born to share the leading formulas of nescience. He has to pass through the pathways of grief and pain. He has to carry the load he came to unloose. That is what it is predestined. He is actually determined and he has come. That is the mission. With that mission, he has come down. So heaven's riches they bring, their sufferings can't count the price. Their suffering counts the price. For that they have come. So today it is of course a great day. We know for that also. We know that this is Buddha Purnima. So many ways we are remembering Buddha. Buddham Saranam Gacchami, Sangham Saranam Gacchami, Dhammam Saranam Gacchami. From his life history, he came also. He left behind his own kingdom, his all pleasure, his wife, his children, his parents, everything he left and went to go in quest of the true knowledge, in quest of the nirvana. Couple of things we are going to discuss, of course, from him. This is the thing always Buddha tried to explain, and his disciples not to waste time and energy in metaphysical speculations. It was his principle, his advice, to avoid, not to waste the time and energy in metaphysical speculations. Then whenever there was a question was asked, then he was keeping silent, because instead he directed his disciples the practical efforts. To be practical, don't waste your time and energy simply in the metaphysical speculations. Once the question was put, question me one day about the possible of infinity of the world. That was the question Buddha. Whether the world is finite or infinity, it does not matter. Whether it is limited or unlimited, it does not matter. The problem of your liberation remains the same. So don't be over speculative over the whether the world is finite or infinitely limited or unlimited. You must concentrate focus upon the thing that was really the that bears the your true problem. Problems of your liberation remains the same. Another question was also put to Buddha, and another time. Suppose a man is he's answering in a very tricky way. Suppose one man is struck by a poisoned arrow. Poison, he's moving on the way. He is struck by a poisoned arrow and he is going to meet his pathetic end within seconds. So that time a doctor comes, wishes to take out the arrow immediately and to get the treatment so that he can be relieved, he can be cured, he can at least get back the life, at least he will not die. That time, if some speculation will be done, some speculation, if he is begin that man does not want the arrow to be removed, and he wants to know who shot it, what is his age, who shot me, who are his parents, and why he shot it, what was my problem, and what would happen then. Just imagine if he were not wait until if he were to wait until the questions have been served, the questions have been answered, that man must die. So life is short. You must not be spent in endless metaphysical speculations. So be reasonative. You just accept the reason, accept the truth. You have to pick up the right thing we have to do. Another thing also you can know, sometimes also on this great day there is a great of course analysis from our side, that we have already seen elephant, the big elephant who was working in the king's army. Actually, it was most revered. Whenever it was going, he was going for the war. Naturally, he was bringing victory for the king. So he was loved by the king. When by the time it got old, so he was not sent to the war, but actually he was in that to corps command. He was in that army purpose. One day this elephant was going to drink some water. In between, it was actually that was a muddy place and that pool. Actually, he got drowned. He could not be able to escape. So there was only smear, and so what to do? That was the real scenario. So if in that atmosphere, people they were the people could be able to hear, and the news went to the king because it was a beloved of the king's. King liked him like very much. They tried, but all tried to bring out the mud was turned in vain, and nothing could be done. So anyway, that time Buddha was actually passing that way. Came to the point, observed the situation and advised, you just do try to beat the war drum, the battle of drums for victory. You just try to play on and it will come out. And the people felt it is actually a silly answer. It is a bizarre answer to our real problem. Anyway, Buddha is sort of advising. So there was actually this drum was played throughout the pool, and what happened with all the vigorous force, this elephant actually tried to collect all the force, all the enthu, all the interest, and actually he tried to come out of the smart. And that was the situation. This force is in us, but someone has to come. Someone has to make us eligible, make us actually strong, bold. He has to feel the will in us. He has to awaken the force that is actually sleeping in us. That is what required. He is the God's messenger. He is coming. As like this, it is going on. Life is going on, and this Son of God, born as the Son of Man, he has drunk the bitter cup, owned the Godhead's depth. He is determined to save this suffering world. For that he is coming. But why in the return, what the world has given for him? He is the victim of his own sacrifice. He is the victim of his own sacrifice, immortal, bound towards mortality. The eternal suffers in a human form. He has signed salvation's testament with his own blood. Just imagine, like Buddha, like Jesus, like Krishna, and like you can see your Muhammad, of course. Many times you have seen they have what they have got in their return. Everything. Saint John also, that is also a bright example. Thing is that Gethsemane and Calvary are his lot. He carries the cross on which man's soul is nailed. His escort is the courses of the crowd. That is what happening, and it is there. But actually, we have to respect it. The fire, the stripe, the wrestler within, and the nothing, no, it is nowhere. It is the scent is coming from the naval position of the Kasturi, but it is moving here and there. We have to see hidden foes. We have to see and take care. Thank you.